morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Major General John Broadmeadow, Vice Director of Logistics J4, welcome to today's retirement ceremony for Major Frederick L. Hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation given by Chaplain Moody, United States Army Chaplain Corps, and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem and honors to Major General Broadmeadow.
Let us pray. Lord, we're grateful today we can honor Major Hunt's 26 years of faithful service to our country, especially since he distinguished himself by passing through the NCO ranks, through the warrant officer ranks, and then as an officer. As we ask your blessing on this ceremony, may you bless him and his wife, Julia, without whose love and support this would not be possible, and guide them and their family as they transition to civilian life, granting them success and grace to meet the challenges ahead. We ask this in your name. Amen. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We are here this morning to honor a Marine who is leaving our ranks after 26 years of honorable and faithful service to the Marine Corps. Major Hunt joined the Marine Corps June 7, 1990. His military occupational specialty is 3302, Food Service Officer, and he is the Director of the Food Service Platoon, Company A, Marine Corps Detachment, Fort Lee, and has the retirement date of 31 August 2016. Major Hunt has held the ranks of Private through Gunnery Sergeant, Warrant Officer through Chief Warrant Officer 3, Captain, and now retiring as a Major after wearing 12 different ranks. Throughout his career, he has unselfishly sacrificed for the benefit of his country, the Marine Corps, and his family. His loyal dedication to duty is to be commended. Major Hunt has served his time well. We thank him and wish him the very best in all future endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the retiring officer and our presiding officer for today's retirement ceremony, Major General John J. Broadmeadow, Vice Director for Logistics J4. Now taking his place is Major Frederick L. Hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Attention orders. Department of the Navy. This is to certify that the President of the United States has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, Gold Star, in lieu of second award, to Major Frederick Hunt for outstanding meritorious service while serving as Director of the Marine Corps Food Service School and Company A Commander, Weapons Training Battalion, Marine Corps Detachment, Fort Lee, Virginia, from August 2015 to August 2016. As the Food Service School Director, Major Hunt's vast insight into operational, finance, and the Department of Defense Food Service and Rations Enterprise positively impacted mission accomplishment at the school and across the food service community. As the Company A commander, Major Hunt led, synchronized, and trained a key staff of 20 while providing oversight to 4 military occupational specialty producing schools with an average daily population of 450 students and permanent personnel. In total, he led and supervised the training of more than 2,000 students throughout the basic, intermediate, and advanced level courses. Superior performance of duty, as typified above, highlights the culmination of 26 years of honorable and dedicated Marine Corps service. Major Hunt's initiative, perseverance, and total devotion to duty reflected great credit upon himself and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Given this 24th day of June, Major General J.W. Lukeman, Commanding General, Training and Education Command. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Certificate of Retirement for the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that Major Frederick L. Hunt, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Marine Corps on the first day of September 2016. Signed, Robert B. Neller, General, U.S. Marine Corps, Commandant of the Marine Corps. On the occasion of his retirement, Major Hunt received several correspondences recognizing his service to Corps and country. Certificate of Appreciation for service in the Armed Forces of the United States. Major Frederick L. Hunt. I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps, and for all Americans who join me today in saluting you for a job extremely well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Barack H. Obama, Commander-in-Chief. Commandant of the Marine Corps. Dear Major Hunt, upon the occasion of your retirement, I extend my sincere appreciation for your dedicated service to the Corps. During your career, the Marine Corps has been involved in combat, and it has been because of Marines like you that the Corps has acquitted itself so well on the battlefield. High standards of excellence in conduct and performance have long been our hallmark, and with them, a unique spirit that sets us apart. You can be proud to have been a part of that legacy and to have obtained your grade in an organization such as ours. In recognizing your long and dedicated service to the Corps, we cannot fail to acknowledge the contributions of your family over the many years. Long and frequent separations are a way of life for Marines, and it takes a very special kind of family to share that many hardships with us. We owe them our deepest gratitude. As you leave our active ranks, go with the knowledge that your distinguished service will have a lasting influence, and it has earned you a legion of friends and fellow Marines who wish you well in the coming years. The Corps is better because you have served, and our nation can stand proud because it produces Marines like you. I speak for all Marines in wishing you good health and good fortune. Semper Fidelis, Marine. Signed, Robert B. Neller, General, U.S. Marine Corps, Commandant of the Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the spouse of Major Hunt will be recognized for her Certificate of Appreciation. This is to certify that Mrs. Julia R. Hunt has earned grateful appreciation for unselfishness, faithfulness, and devoted service during her husband's Marine Corps career. Your unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible your husband's lasting contribution to the nation. We fully realize that your support and understanding was not provided without hardship and sacrifice during your husband's tours of duty. On behalf of the Marine Corps and the Marine Corps Detachment at Fort Lee, we thank you. Presented this 24th day of June 2016, Johnny G. Garza, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Marine Corps, Commanding Officer, Marine Corps Detachment, Fort Lee. To Major Hunt's wife, Julia Hunt, his two daughters, Kennedy Hunt, Sydney Hunt, his mother, Crystal Moore, and his mother-in-law, Edith Combs. Ladies and gentlemen, today's retiring officer, Major General Broadmeadow.
All right, Brian, can you hear me okay in the back? Give me a thumbs up if you can. All right, Master, I wanted to give me a mic, but I think I can do it without. So, all right. Good afternoon, everybody. Or good morning still. Good morning. I'm going to start right here. Johnny, awesome. Anytime you get a band at a ceremony, it's a good thing. And to have you guys here for this is fantastic. So I'm sure Major Hunt was going to thank you as well, too. But just in case, because when you get up here and you start talking, you forget it. You guys do an awful lot, so thank you very much for all the time being out there to add some class to yourself. For your General Select Home, congratulations. It's great to say that. It's great to have you out here doing that, the Commanding General of Training Command. And my first time to get to address my friend as a general, so we're very happy to do that. Great place for a ceremony, huh? This is pretty nice. I know some of you have been able to get down into the museum. What a great place to farewell a Marine who has got such a great career, because this is where we embody the story of our Corps. And thousands of Marines add to that story all the time. What we're here for today is to add to that story and to talk the story of one very important Marine who has done an awful lot for our Corps, who has increased that legacy. But while today is about Fred Hunt, it is not for Fred Hunt. Today is not his ceremony. This ceremony belongs to two other groups of people out here. First, his family. And I'm going to make it through Julia and Kennedy and Sydney and Ulysses and Crystal and Edith, and then I'm going to forget everybody else that's out there. If I try to remember it, I'm going to forget the rest of my speech out here. So all of you that are here from this family, this is for you, okay, because you have been a big part of getting him to where he's been. And I know, and I'm going to get to this a little bit later in my speech, he's very proud of that. The second group of people that this is for is kind of the old guys sitting up front here. But y'all turn around and take a look at those young devil dogs in the back of the room. This ceremony, excuse me, this ceremony is for them. It's important that they see this passing of a legacy, because 26 years ago, he was there. He stood in those very footsteps that those young Marines stood in as well. He stood on those yellow footprints in San Diego 26 years ago. And you all can look in this ceremony and see the legacy that gets passed on from Marine to Marine, and you all are part of that. So this is important that you're here and that you get to see it. I'm very proud that I was able to get my picture taken with all of you today. So as part of reading this legacy, I got to do something. I got a job up here. And an old boss of mine said something that I really liked. Warriors tell their story in song. Sometimes I'm not going to sing, so don't want me to sing up here. But a great line that my old boss used to use is something I really like, is no song left unsung soon dies. And what he means by that is it's important for those of us that are warriors to tell the legacy of those that have contributed to this broader legacy that I just talked about. And that's what my job is up here today. So y'all have, I'm assuming, I've read his bio. I'm assuming his bio is in the program. I haven't read the program. I guess I should have done that first, right? So his bio's in there. So you're going to say, well, General, my job is not just to read that bio to you, though. What I'm hoping to do maybe is add a little context to the words that are on that paper and make it reflect the man and make it reflect the legacy that I keep talking about, that he imbued in what's written on that piece of paper out there. And I, like I said, started, back 26 years ago in San Diego, stepping on those yellow footprints. And then once he graduates from that, we make him a food service Marine, and he heads out to 29 Palms. Now, I got to tell you, for some of us love 29 Palms, okay? But if you're a young Marine, that's probably, especially coming out of Michigan, that's probably about as foreign to where you could possibly go as going off to the far end of the earth. Yet, he did well while he was there. More importantly, he decided to stick around. And he left 29 Palms, and then he went out to Okinawa and got aboard a View. And for those of you that don't know it, that's the cutting edge of what we do out there. So not only did he forward deploy to Okinawa, but he got himself aboard a ship that is truly the pointy edge of our Marine Corps. That's the pointy end of the spear. And he found himself out there. What a great way to start. You go to our premier combat training base, and then you go forward deploy out to Okinawa and get onto a Mew. And what a fantastic way to kick off a career. Then he comes back from that, and he goes to Marine Barracks, Washington. And that wasn't a particularly eventful thing. I'll get back to that one later. But he leaves Marine Barracks, Washington, and he goes out onto recruiting duty. You say, okay, he goes back home. He goes back to Lansing, right? To Flint, RSS Flint, I think, right? And, so he's home. But it's more than just going home. It's more than just being close to family and all the rest of this. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that haven't been out there, recruiting duty is demanding duty. And not everybody's successful going out on a recruiting tour out there. We ask an awful lot. There's very few things we do in the Marine Corps. We make Marines, we win our country's battles, and then we like to say we return citizens back to our country better than they were. That all starts with being on the street and bringing young Americans into our Corps and making them Marines out there. It's tough and demanding duty. Not only did he succeed out there, but he excelled. And he came out of there a staff NCO. So that says something, that not just did he didn't just do well, he excelled at some of our most demanding duty. Comes off of recruiting duty, goes to Camp Lejeune, goes to the other side of the country now. So now he's out at MWSS 274. I'm pretty partial to MWSSs myself. I enjoy that an awful lot. Leaves there and goes back to Okinawa in MWSS 172. So he's got this wing thing going here, right? So, but again, demonstrates a high degree of success because the Marine Corps sees something in him. And during that tour makes him a warrant officer, makes him an officer of Marines. And I will tell you, as Fred and I have talked through the years, one of the things that I know is that transition is something that means an awful lot to him. He was very proud to enlist in our Marine Corps. He was very proud to wear the stripes of a gunnery sergeant of Marines. But he was particularly proud when the Marine Corps recognized that leadership potential in him and made him an officer of Marines. To lead Marines as an officer after experiencing what it's like to be an enlisted Marine, an NCO, and a staff NCO. And I know that's a particular point of pride for him. And I'm particularly happy because once he finished the Warrant Officer Basic course in the basic school out here and excelled once again in school out there to become a food service officer, he then comes to 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing, where I had the very fortunate opportunity to work with my friend Fred. Comes in as a brand new warrant officer, and I ended up throwing him onto his deployment to Iraq from there. And I will tell you that I know firsthand that all of that background that he had up until that point was put to very effective use as Fred brings Marines into a combat deployment and excels while he's out there. So he leaves 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing and then goes to one of my favorite places in the entire Marine Corps. And we've had a lot of conversations on this one. I think, I like to think that, I kind of shaped it. So he goes to the 1st Marine Division to be the food service officer out there. The Blue Diamond is a particularly special place for me, and I tried to get that across to Fred. And I don't think he really understood it until you walk into that White House and you see that Blue Diamond, and all of a sudden you recognize that you are in one of the most storied institutions in the entire world. He's a critical member of that. But not only did he then go to the wing, but that actually was the rounding out of his career, because if you think about it, he's now served, not quite yet. He hadn't got the MLT yet, so he actually left the division and then went to CLR 17, another former commander market. So, we unfortunately we just missed each other there. But I followed very closely the fact that he became a company commander in CLR 17. So now he's a captain of Marines, and he's not only doing his job as a food service officer, but he's commanding Marines. And that is another thing that just doesn't happen out there. You have to show an awful lot of potential. He showed so much potential that he left that command. The Marine Corps said, you're going to go back to Okinawa again, and you're going to stay in command. And he commanded another company out in Okinawa. From there, he goes over to MCI PAC, which is responsible for all of the bases throughout the Western Pacific. With all his time in Okinawa, he was a natural for that. And here he's responsible for a huge swath of taking care of the Marines. And then from there, ends up at Fort Lee, adding to the legacy of our Corps by taking that great wealth of knowledge that he has built through this incredible career across our entire MACTAF, every element of our MACTAF, recruiting duty, and in combat, command, as a young PFC to a major, and he's taking all that knowledge and imbuing it in these young Marines that are now ready and poised to carry on the legacy that he is able to impart to them. I can't think of a more fitting way to wrap up a career as diverse and as important as yours has been, and to be able to spend your company in the days of these young Marines and carrying on that legacy. So well done to you in that regard, Fred. So that's the story of Fred's journey through the Marine Corps. Let me talk a little bit about this MOS. Now, I know I got an awful lot of old friends that from this MOS that are out here. I see a bunch of you here. And I think those of you that are part of this MOS will vouch for the fact that, in the times that we've worked together, I hope you know how important this is. Let me try and make it a little bit, because you say food service, okay, got it. Great little recipe card in here on what makes a great Marine wife. There are cooks, they take care of us and all the rest. But you really begin to understand the impact of this MOS when you've been out in the field for a long time. And all of a sudden you watch Marines' faces light up as they're given their first hot meal of the day, or first hot meal of the month, and the attitude changes. And they go from being hot and dirty and tired, or cold and wet and miserable, to all of a sudden having this sustenance that does more than just, provide food to them, but actually picks them up and adds to morale. And any good commander out there understands this is one of the essential elements of what you do. Not only is it important for the morale and the health of our Marines to have this MOS, but I will tell you there's very few MOSs that work harder and are less appreciated for the hours that they put in. Because no matter how early you get up, these Marines in this MOS are the first ones in the chow hall every morning. They're the last ones to leave every minute. They put the time in, often behind the scenes, and unless you're a CEO poking your head into the back of a scullery or into the kitchen to make sure things are running good, you don't necessarily get to see these Marines. The average Marine that goes through the chow hall sees the Marine that's serving them food, okay, and most of them will say thank you for that, okay, but most of the time you don't get to see them, because they're working in the back and they're working hard, and long hours and doing fantastic stuff. And it takes a special leader to keep that motivation up for these Marines that work that hard. Because like all Marines, they don't just do their MOS. These are also watchstanders and riflemen, ready to go into harm's way at a moment's notice. We deploy an awful lot today, and we go in and we see these big industrial chow halls that we've got used to in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I've heard the stories from senior leaders, in fact, the most senior leaders in our Corps. And I had discussions about this MOS. Well, can't we just contract for it? I will tell you, 4-star generals in our Corps have said no. That the model that we had in Iraq and Afghanistan isn't necessarily where we're going to be in the future. And they recognize that this MOS in this occupational field is incredibly important for the expeditionary nature of our Marine Corps, because it's Marines taking care of Marines. And for as long as I'm around, and for as long as most of the 4-star generals are around in this Marine Corps, this is recognized as a vitally important MOS. And the leaders in this MOS ensure that we remain on that cutting edge. But he didn't get here alone. And there's a couple people that I really want to call out in particular. I talked about that Marine Barracks Washington job. And I didn't know Julia before today, even though I've served with Fred before. I got to tell you, before we did this retirement, he and I sat down, just got caught up because we hadn't seen each other in a while. Started talking a little bit about this, and I was asking him a few of the details about what should I talk about and where should I go with this. And immediately he went to two things. One, he talked to me about being an officer and how he's very proud of becoming an officer in this field, and an officer of Marines leading the Marines. But his face really lit up when he started talking about his time in Marine Barracks, Washington, where he met his wife, Julia. And she's Marine in her own right. He was very proud of that. And you should have seen his face. And you could tell that you have been absolutely central to his success and everything that he has gone through. You've been there by his side. Not only that, but you've raised two beautiful kids with him. And Kennedy, Sydney, your dad is incredibly proud of you. He brought Kennedy by my office here, and she sat very patiently, I think because she got the day out of school. And, but she was a terrific young lady sitting there and introduced herself to me and sat out there waiting patiently for her dad, but you could see the pride that was there too, both ways. And girls, you should be very, very proud of your dad today because he is very, very proud of you. And I need to thank you on behalf of all of these Marines that your dad has led and served with over the years, because he couldn't have done that without your support. So thank you for picking up and going to all those different schools and all the things that you've had to do to support his career. So thank you very much. And Ulysses, Crystal, thank you very much for all you've done, Edith, for allowing Julia to marry this young man and for the career that you've allowed him to have. On behalf of the Marine Corps, thank you very much for all you've done. So, today's the last day. You look back on your time in the Marine Corps, you say, what is the measure of success out there? Well, as Marines, we like to talk about being MAGTF Marines, serving throughout the MAGTF. This man's done it. Division, wing, logistics group, deployed to Okinawa, served in Camp Lejeune, served in Camp Pendleton, served all over our Corps. So he's been and done everywhere. He's brought Marines in, he's taught young Marines, he's carried on that legacy. By any measure, he has been a success in the things that we do. He's raised a wonderful family, as he's done it, who has stood by his side and represented our Corps in a terrific way. He's been a success. He's been a leader. These young Marines in the back now have somebody that they can look to and say, that's who I want to be. 26 years from now, I want one of you sitting up here going through this exact same thing. Fred, by any measure, you've had a successful career, and I congratulate you in Semper Fidelis, my friend. All the best.
On June 7, 1990, I raised my right hand and swore an oath to support and defend the United States, the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. As many of you may know, I'm a little bit of a talker. But I promise I won't ramble too long. That's why I'm going to read my notes. This is a rough, uncut version. I want to capture the moment, not edit it later. So if it's a little choppy, I'll apologize now. Major Brownmeadow, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be a retiring officer. I will gladly do one shot, one kill when asking you, and you said yes. Thank you for the kind words. I'm always thinking myself, who is that person? Thank you for the mentoring and guidance. Colonel Baum, congratulations, sir. Welcome aboard. You and your family. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend. Colonel Parker, thank you for being here. I wish you and your family well as you travel to your next duty station. Thank you very much, sir. Lieutenant Colonel Gardner, welcome aboard. I know the Marines are really excited about you being on board and excited for you and your family and what you can do at Marine Corps Chapter 4 Lee. Before I go on too much further, I gotta say thank you to my lovely wife for riding this journey with me for so many years. We have said so many times in the past that we were truly blessed. But in reality, it is me that has been blessed to have you. I couldn't have done it and made it this far without you. You have sacrificed so much for our family so that I could support and defend our country. You are my life partner. I'm ready to begin my next chapter with you. To my daughters, Kenny and Sydney, as I sat down and wrote this speech on Father's Day, some say there's nothing more defining than a dad. People define us as doctors, lawyers, construction workers, and even Marines. But being called a dad is the defining moment. I'm excited and looking forward to seeing you grow from the civilian side. Your futures are so bright. Thank you for always understanding and supporting Team Hunt. To Mom and Pop, thank you for coming. Without you, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you for the life lessons and showing me what a strong family foundation looks like. This day would not be special without you being here. To my mother-in-law, thank you for giving me the opportunity to have Julia. She is truly special, and I know what she got in for me. Thank you very much. To my sister Gwen, thank you for keeping the siblings together. Even though they all couldn't be here today, thank you for representing. To my Uncle David, Aunt Margaret, Cousin Marjorie, thank you for coming. I want to say thank you, all three of you, for your service. To my cousin Anthony, Captain and his family, thank you for being here. You know, Anthony, we have been around each other so long, I can't remember not being around each other. We're the same age. Even though we don't talk every day, when we do speak, it's like we haven't missed a beat at all. Thank you for your friendship through the years. To Anthony Finzi, my former Marine, who was my roommate at 8 to 9 when I met my wife. He was also my best man at my wedding. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for being here. Sergeant Major Harold and Felicia, thank you for coming from New Jersey. Sergeant Major Harold was one of my first sergeants. I was a company commander. With the recent selection of First Sergeant Hunt, every first sergeant who worked with me are now Sergeant Major or Sergeant Major Select. Thank you for everything you've done. Our time in Fuji was well spent. A special thanks to First Sergeant Hunt for setting up everything today. This is amazing. And to First Sergeant Nicholson, who stepped in with First Sergeant Hunt without doing Sergeant Major things. I really appreciate everything you've done. Captain Oliver, she runs the Hyatt, Master Sergeant Gonzalez. Thank you for putting my invitations and my program together. Awesome. To commanders, Sergeant Major, Master Gunnery Sergeant, officers, staff NCOs, Marines, soldier, family and friends. Thank you so much for coming. To the band, thank you very much. I really appreciate and enjoy the music. At least for one day, I can say I have my own band. I told my wife I was going to sing at my retirement ceremony. I'll say that for the reception. I can stand here and thank so many people, but we'd be here all day. This is a great day. There's nothing bittersweet about this day. There is no other place I would be than right here, right now. I've enjoyed myself for the last 26 years, but it's really time to move on to bigger and better things. Through the years, I've attended quite a few retirement ceremonies, and the ones I attended for the last few years have been a bit of a blur. Instead of fully paying attention to the ceremony, I constantly caught myself daydreaming about my own retirement ceremony. So if some of you are doing that today, it's okay, I won't hold it against you. I constantly wonder what my speech would be like. Would it be one of happiness or sadness? Given my reputation of a bit of a talker, I'm sure some of you have been wondering what type of speech I had and how long it would be. It would be a speech of me being honored, humbled, appreciative, and blessed. It's truly an honor and humbling to have you here today. I wouldn't change a thing about the path of my career. I can't think of one thing that I wanted to accomplish and didn't. I can say this is definitely a profession that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. There are many roadblocks in my way, but I never allowed any of them to stop me or define me. Over the course of the last 26 years, I have thrown my body, mind, even my soul into my work. While I believe my determination and work ethics are some of the things that made me attracted to my wife, they are probably some of the things that frustrate her the most. I say all the time that I have no life. Whatever, whenever, wherever I'm needed, I'm always there. I serve at the pleasure of my Marines. I care so much about taking care of them and their families. It's hard to describe what it's like to stand on those yellow footprints on the first day of boot camp. It's difficult to capture during wartime the feeling you get when you hear bombs coming in and you're not sure whether they're going to make it or not, and if it's your time to go. How do you portray the pain you feel when you break bread with a fellow Marine today and you attend a funeral tomorrow? How can you capture the love that you feel when you stumble off the plane in Miramar, California, tired and worn from the war, and see your wife standing there waiting, radiant in her beauty and splendor? These moments and many more are what define a career in military service. I'm not even going to try to explain those feelings today. For those who have felt them or something like them, you already know everything I can say. And we share the kinship of those experiences. For those who haven't, there is no way I can convey it in the span of this speech. Instead, I'm going to share some of my experiences with you over the past 26 years. And how they influenced not only my career, but also my life. You can't take a general interest in your people. You have to invest in them. As a leader, you have to take fluid interest in their careers. If you think your personnel have more interest in you getting promoted than themselves, you're sadly mistaken. You already a senior person. They're trying to get where you are, or they're trying to achieve their own goals. I'm not going to go as far as to say that they don't care about you getting promoted, because I'm pretty sure if you get promoted, they'd be happy for you. But they're not coming to work every single day thinking, what can I do today to get my commanding officer or my boss promoted? As a leader, you have to go to work every day thinking, how can I get my personnel promoted? What I realized through the years is that nobody works for free. You take care of your Marines. How you take care of your Marines is not only the key to their survival, but it's also the key to your survival. You see, it's been great for me for a long time. I was appreciative just to pick up corporal. I never chased rank or promotion. I always concentrated on my job, doing the best I could every single day, and the promotion just came as they were. Some years ago, I was having a conversation with a first sergeant that recently got passed over for sergeant major for the second time and was forced to retire. So as going away during our conversation, he was talking about what he was going to do next in his life. He was telling me how he was going back to California and how he was going to get a job and what he wanted to do. So in my encouraging way, I started talking about his transition and how he can survive after the Marine Corps. And all of a sudden, our conversation got cold and dry. It went from a pleasant conversation to a conversation that was over real quick. I remember coming home that day and telling my wife about it. And she told me, I shouldn't have said that. I told her that I wasn't trying to be insincere. She told me, I know you didn't, but he really wanted to get promoted. And he really wasn't ready to get out the Marine Corps. He was just putting on a show for a situation that he had no control over. It made me realize just because I was happy with my career, never experienced being passed over. And even getting selected for major for the below zone doesn't mean everyone else had reached their goals. You see, every Marine wants to be promoted. Just because you're happy with where you are in your life and your career doesn't mean everybody else is. I kept that in mind every time I dealt with a Marine with a situation. This day today has been in the works for about the last 10 years. Even though I knew I was going to make a withdrawal for my investment this year based off when I wanted to retire. I didn't let it or allow me to determine how I was going to invest in my Marines. If you make smart, sound investments with your Marines, big return will come back to you. And that's why I think I'm a major today. Robert Stevenson once said, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. You cannot keep making withdrawals without making deposits. Thanks again for sharing this day with me and my family. We are so blessed.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the benediction given by Chaplain Moody and remain standing for the playing of Anchors Away and the Marine's Hymn.
As we depart, we're reminded to selflessly serve by Major Hunt's retirement. May the Lord bless us and keep us. May the Lord make his face shine upon us and be gracious to us. May the Lord shower his favor upon us and give us peace. Amen. Amen.
representation of Old faithful service to our nation, we would now like to present you with Old Glory. It is a universal custom to display the flag only from sunrise to sunset on buildings and on stationary flagstaffs in the open. The national ensign is flown daily at the Marine Corps Detachment flagpole on Fort Lee. The national ensign that you will be viewing being passed between each rank that Major Hunt has worn was raised and lowered from the United States Marine Corps War Memorial flagpole on June 1st, 2016. In honor of his dedicated and faithful service to the United States Marine Corps, Major Hunt will receive a certificate attesting to this. In 1990, on June 7th, I was equally honored when one young civilian, Frederick L. Hunt, stood next to me and raised his hand to enlist in the United States Marine Corps. Who am I? I have a great and glorious past, an even brighter future. Through skirmishes, battles, wars, during the most tragic times and the happiest times, I have been honored. PFC in 1990. Who am I? I am the flag of the United States of America. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. Lance Corporal in 1991. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see me. Corporal in 1992. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident, yes, even arrogant. I am proud. Sergeant in 1995. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher, my colors a little truer, for I bow to no one. Staff Sergeant in 1998. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved. And yes, I am feared. Gunnery Sergeant in 2001. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. The American Revolution, the War of 1812, the Mexican War, Bull Run, Gettysburg, San Juan Hill, from the trenches of France to the beaches of Normandy, the Philippines, Guam, Midway, Okinawa, Korea, Vietnam, Bosnia, Kuwait, Iraq, Afghanistan, and a score of places long forgotten by all but those who were there with me. I was there. Warrant Officer in 2005. I led soldiers, sailors, airmen, and my Marines. I followed them and watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill on Iwo Jima, and although I was dirty, battle-worn, and tired, I was brave. Chief Warrant Officer 2 in 2006. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of other countries that I have helped set free. It does not hurt, for I am invincible. Chief Warrant Officer 3 in 2009. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country, and when it is by those whom I have served with in battle, it hurts, but I shall overcome, for I am strong. Captain in 2010. I have slipped the bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been a silent witness to all of America's finest hours. But my finest hour comes when I am torn into strips and used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the battlefield. Major, in 2013, I fly at half-mast to honor soldiers, sailors, airmen, and my Marines. And during that solemn time, when I am cradled in the trembling arms of a grieving mother by the final resting place of her fallen son or daughter, it is here where I say to you what you have already said to me. Semper Fidelis, which is always faithful, each time I am and always will be proud.
Down, face, forward, march.
A purple mountain majesty.
Hold. Left,
My name is Old Glory. Long may I wait. Dear God, long may I wait. Ladies and gentlemen, promoted to Major in March of 2013, and now retired as Frederick L. Hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. On behalf of Major General John J. Broadmeadow, Vice Director of Logistics Day Corps, Major Hunt, thank you for your attendance. Please join us for my celebration of
America! I love you, America! You see, my God, He done shed His grace on thee. You ought to love Him for it, because He crowned that good. He told me He would. Every brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, Lord. I thank you, Lord.
You know, we decided that we were going to wait until after his TMO goes, you know, like all good Marines, proper planning, right? Just to put something that fits halfway within his car. So good luck with driving this, and sorry, girls.
Sir, why did you let him get up there and
So,
say
just anything.
I'll hit him in the head later.
Later on. Sir, we just wanted to say thank you for all your guidance, leadership, and phenomenalness. I made that word up again. Yeah, that word up later on. For everything that you've done for us in this past year, really appreciate it, sir. So, one more extra token for you to try to put on your wall at the house. I love you all. Wow. Sounds good? Speak it up. Speak it up.
It says Major Frederick L. Hunt, rabbits got the gun. Oh, I had to get an explanation for that one, and I'm pretty sure someone else used that too, right? Yeah. I let him do that one. 2015 07 19 and 2016 06 24. Thank you for your passion, dedication, and motivation that you have shown all the students and permanent personnel while here at Marine Corps Food Service School. From your Marine Corps family, Food Service Schoolhouse.
Man, you suck.
Yeah, I do.
And there's your point too.
So the phrase on there has, the rabbit got the gun. So you know when you get promoted in rank, sometimes it's bad for some people. Because when you get promoted, people start working for you, now how does it feel that the rabbit got the gun? So think about Elmer Fudd back there and back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
When you the little man, now you little man no more. Now the rabbit got the gun.